So the next step is basically doing our lights and switches. So the first thing I'm going to do is, again, come over to the side. I am going to start with a circle. This circle I'm going to make a little bit larger, so a radius of 2, diameter of 4. Then I'm going to zoom into that circle, and I am going to use the text tool by just typing in text, hitting a starting point right about here, and then I'm going to place at a height of 3 inches, a rotation of 0, the letter S in capital. I'll press enter, enter, and then I'm going to take that S, grab it by its blue grip, and just place it inside the circle. So this, excuse me, gentlemen, represents our switches. Now, for a switch, I don't have to rotate this. We want to read everything from the bottom of our plans. So it's literally just copying this and placing it wherever we need a switch. So in my garage, my door will be here at some point, and it will be opening up against this wall. So I want my switch on this side, the opposite side, to where the hinge swings. I'm going to have one switch and then a second one beside it, because I want to be able to control 2 sets of lights in my garage. Then in my kitchen, I need to place switches where they need to go. So when I walk into the kitchen past my stairs here, I'm going to be placing 2 switches against that wall. And then I'm also going to be placing them over against this wall, so that if I walk in from the family room, I also have control of the lights in the kitchen. Now, the reason why I have 2 switches is I'm going to have 2 sets of lights in my kitchen. One will be some pot lights that illuminate the kitchen itself, and the other switch is going to be for under or over cabinet lighting. I'm also going to come by the sink here, and I'm going to place a switch for a garburator. Now, not everybody wants a garburator, but in a newer home, it's something I always put in, even if that switch doesn't get connected. Well, it will get connected, but even if the outlet under the sink doesn't get wired into the garburator, I still have it available. Now, if you want any other types of lighting in your kitchen, you're going to place a switch to control that lighting. It's totally up to you. Now, once I've done my switch, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw some lights. First of all, a light is pretty simple. Again, 2-inch in diameter for a pot light. So it's a 4-inch in diameter light. And sometimes I'll put little lines off it and around it, kind of indicating that it's giving off light. Or I'll just put the letter L on the inside. So again, I'll type text, starting point just inside my circle, a height of 3, rotation of 0, and then I'm going to hit a capital L. Enter, enter, and there is my light. Now, in your kitchen, I'm also going to require you not only to have a light, but also to have and to make a ceiling fan for your family room. So first of all, I'm going to copy this light, and I am going to paste it wherever I want lights in my kitchen. Now, in the case of the kitchen, for general lighting, I like to use some basic pot lights. I'm going to turn my ortho on so that I'm drawing horizontal and vertical lines, so that when I place these, I can track off of the previous one and paste the other ones with those lights. So once my ortho is on, I'll type in copy, I'll select my first light, I'll copy it, and then I'll just track off of it over to the right in this case, and then I'm going to track down, and I'm going to put 6 lights across this room. I'm going to repeat copy, and I'm going to copy both of these, and just track them directly off to the side. And I should have done all three of them at the same time. But anyways. So those are my 3, 4, or 6 4-inch pot lights. I'm also going to copy a light and put it underneath my cabinets for under cabinet lighting. I'll turn my ortho off. I'll put one here under this section. I'm going to put a light above my sink. I'm going to put a light under this cabinet, one in the corner, and one down this side, and a further one over on this cabinet. Now where my peninsula is, I'm going to also have a set of lights here. And that way, if I'm doing something over the peninsula, I've got some specific lights that are just there to light up that area. I'm going to make these a little bit bigger. Again, I'm going to use the circle tool. I'm going to have a 3-inch radius and 6-inch diameter. I'll zoom in, and again, I'm going to type in text. My start point, height is the same, and the capital L. And I'm going to copy this and just place 3 of these directly over my peninsula. Now you might have an island and you might place 2 or 3 lights over it. These for me are going to be some nice designer glass pendant lights that will hang over that area of the kitchen. Now once I have my lights and my switches, what I'm going to need to do is go up to my layer control, and if you don't already have a layer for your wires, you're going to create a new layer. This will be called wire, and it's not a continuous line. You're actually going to load the hidden line for that layer, and I'm going to switch it to the same color as my electrical layer. And then I'm going to use the spline tool. So if I hit the draw menu and pull it down, you can see I have the ability to choose a spline. A spline is a curved line. So I'm going to click and turn on my object snap. And I'm going to grab my light, turn my ortho off, and then I'm going to connect this light up, or this switch up, to this light, and I'll press enter. Now this line needs to be on my wiring layer, and I need to be on my wiring layer to draw the rest of them. These cannot be straight lines, they must be splines. So I'll right click and hit repeat spline, and I'm going to come over to this light, and I am going to create a spline that leads to that light and as well that light. So I'm daisy chaining them all, indicating that that switch is going to control these lights. Now I'm going to come over to this wall, and on this wall I'm going to have one switch controlling my pot lights, which is also going to be connected up to this switch. And then my other switch will be connected to my under cabinet lighting. So again, I'm going to use the spline tool. I'll right click, repeat spline, and I'm going to go from this switch. Again, I've got to click more than once so that I create curves leading to each one of the lights. And I'm going to do this from light to light. Again, daisy chaining these all the way along. Reason why we don't want any straight lines is we don't want this to be confused for any other type of object on our drawing. And so these wires must be curved. If they're not curved, you will lose marks. So there is it all connected in line. I don't have to bring this back down. I can end it off in that light, but I do want to control these lights from this switch. So I'll right-click Repeat Spline, and I'll come from this switch, and I'm going to wrap a curve around to that point there. As I said, I would bring these over to my under cabinet lighting, and then I would be done. I'd also need to go in and put 4 lights in my garage. Oftentimes they're LED or fluorescent lights, similar to the lights we have in the class, only in a smaller box. Sometimes they're just a single bulb. It really depends on what type of lighting you want in the garage. But again, we would need to draw those. So if I am going to draw something like a 4-foot fluorescent or LED light panel, I will start with the line tool and draw a line, making sure ortho is on, and that's going to be 48 inches long, 8 inches across, back down 48, and across to finish it off. Now again, not knowing what this rectangle is, I need to put the letter L in here, or I can put LED for an LED light box. And I would just place that in the middle, approximately, of my light fixture. I'd copy that over and place it in my garage. So for me, I prefer to have more lights than less lights in the garage. And so I'm going to put a few of them up here in the ceiling. No. Anoop, watch your language. Oh, who was it? I'm pretty sure you're both. Any questions?